My body is ready for you, Master. Have your way with me. Ugh. Oh, hi guys. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'll be doing a weapon comparison for Dirty Bomb. What weapons, you ask? Well, this video will be going over the M4A1 and the Timik-47. That's right, guys. The two fully automatic weapons available to Skyhammer, the default mercenary. Now, I'll be going over the stats, the differences, similarities, pros and cons, you name it. I'll even talk a little bit about my personal preference between the two. Anyways, I'll start us off with the M4A1, which does a maximum damage of 14 damage to the body, which is 28 damage to the head at a rate of 536 rounds per minute. The reload speed comes at 2.1 seconds, and you'll be dealing with 35 rounds in the magazine. Now, the DPS, if you land all body shots, is 125 damage per second, so that doubled would be 250 DPS for all headshots. And finally, have damage potential in a full magazine, which comes out to be 490 damage if all shots land on the body, and 980 if all shots land on the head. Now, the Timik-47 is very similar in stats. In fact, the only major differences that I could see would be that it shoots at a slightly faster RPM at 551.5 rounds per minute, and the reload speed is a hair faster at 2 seconds flat. Now, because of the slightly higher RPM, you do get a body DPS of 128.4 damage per second, which means if you land all headshots, that comes out to be 257 damage per second. Now, you may be wondering, oh nice, the Timik must be a straight upgrade. Ooh, well, this is where Recoil comes in. Well, the exact numbers for Recoil and Spread are not available, at least to me. You can see here by the side-by-side demonstration that the Timik-47 seems to have a much higher vertical kick than the M4A1. I'm not doing any sort of vertical recoil compensation or anything, or any sort of compensation by any means, and just letting the gun go on full auto. I'm not sure if the cone of fire bloom is any different, but you can definitely see a pretty big difference in the vertical recoil. Both weapons have 35 rounds, so after 35 rounds you can see how the Timik-47 goes up much higher than the M4A1. At the same time though, both weapons seem to be biasing towards the right as far as their horizontal shift. So in short, the Timik-47 will shoot and reload ever so much barely-ish faster than the M4A1. However, it is much harder to control with its higher recoil. I found this to be accurate as during the filming of the parts with the Timik-47, after using the M4A1 for a while, it felt pretty hard to use and a little weird and wonky and a little inaccurate for the first few matches. However, after that, I was able to learn the weapon's recoil and start landing those headshots. Now, the M4A1 is definitely easier to control, in my opinion, but it does cost you a slightly lower RPM, thus slightly lower DPS. Now for me, I prefer the M4A1 over the Timik-47 because the M4A1 still has that competitive damage model and the competitive DPS while still being very easy to handle, thus easier to be accurate with. Now, that isn't to say that Timik-47 is a bad weapon or terrible, unusable weapon or anything overall. It certainly does take a bit more skill to get used to, but it will perform similarly to the M4A1. However, with such similarities between the two guns, the Timik's benefit of having slightly, and I mean really slightly, higher DPS than the M4A1, that just doesn't seem to be worth the increased recoil, at least in my opinion. Now guys, I found that the damage per second may indeed be a little bit higher on the Timik-47, but in practical use, just from my experience, it's more likely that I'll miss my shots because of the increased recoil of the Timik-47. But who knows, maybe I just have to sit down and get used to its recoil to really take advantage of that extra damage. And by extra damage, I mean the extra 3 damage you get per second when you use the Timik-47 over the M4A1. Now, I will have to say though, the Timik-47 does look a little bit cooler than the M4A1, at least in my opinion, and I found that the iron sights for the Timik, when you aim down sights, seem to be way less obstructive than the ring for the M4A1. Anyways guys, I hope you found this video informative. I'm trying to figure out what types of reviews people like more, whether it be for a merc or for a loadout or weapons only format. Let me know in the comment section below. And until next time guys, I hope to see you on the battlefield.